this is a very loose back show because it's just me and Commodore here. Everybody else has had something going on with them. Marcel, actually I shouldn't have said that. The person whom I did not just name, who we shall call Bit,
he already says his name on the stream.
Yeah, I know, and he said it on the stream here, so it's not like I'm giving away anything, but still, I know most of y'all's names, but most of y'all don't give your names out just like me, and I don't want to ever get in the habit of doing that on the stream, because I'll do it by mistake one day and give it out to somebody who hasn't given it out. So
I don't want to get in the habit of saying your name too, even though I already know your name. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, Bit swore he'd show up. My guess is he'll show up in like 20 or 30 minutes. So it's so, we've called this one the end of the world. I really wish Leo had been here today, because
You got the clock.
He'd have the clock. I could go look that up if I wanted, but it's like he has it bookmarked and stuff. But the other thing is, I wanted to go over, well, how many of those Revelation signs have come true? Because it's like we got the ground shaking, we got the world at war, we got, it's like let's just go.
Coming out, you got Firefox being a good, Firefox Pro coming out, IE becoming a good browser. What else do we got here that is another side of the apocalypse?
Yeah, it's like let's just go. It's like, oh, maybe it really is. Maybe the world is really going to end next year. It's like, anyways, moving on to some soft news. Apparently, free speech is now dead.
I didn't die already.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. I knew this was going to be the precedent from all these stupid. As soon as the court started ruling that Twitter was liable, and I'm not saying Twitter isn't liable because it is technically in print, so if you are slandering somebody in print, technically it's liable. But it's one of those things, we've gotten so freaking PC that you can't have an opinion without offending somebody. And the latest...
That's ridiculous. I don't like this whole PC crap, politically correct. Politically correctness. It's ridiculous,
No, go ahead and call it PC. This is politically correct versus McAtoo,
I don't like the term African American, but okay, does a dude have black, but maybe he's not African. Maybe he's Native Australian,
And you know what? I've been colorblind since the day I was born, to be quite honest, so I don't really care on any of that shit. But apparently...
Morgan thinks about Black History Month. He hates it.
And staring us back into what's actually... The latest oh dear godness going on here is a referee is suing a sports writer for $75,000. This is what the sports writer tweeted. Ref Bill Sporner told Rambis he'd get it back after a bad call. Then he made an even worse call on Rockets. That's NBL officiating, folks. Editorial comment on the fly tweeted.
Now where was that? Could you highlight that, please?
Right here. Right, very top of the thing. That's the tweet.
I don't see it. Hold on. I don't see it anywhere.
At the very top of the thing, it says it's dead, Jim.
I don't see it. I might be looking at the wrong one.
Are you in 9.9 or 9.8?
I'm in 9.8.
Go 9.9.
Is there a 9.9?
Hold on.
No, there isn't. I'm not in 9.9. Shoot. No wonder why I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Get the right file, you dumbass!
Let me refresh.
And I'll put it in the... There you go.
No wonder why I wasn't in there. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll put it in the show notes. But, I mean, basically this is an offhanded comment. I'm not saying it's the smartest thing, especially for a sports writer to do. But I don't think this was $75,000 worth of damage to this ref's reputation. I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is probably the nicest thing said about the poor ref during the night. I mean, honestly, have anybody ever been to an NBA game? It's kill the ref! Kill the ref! It's like, where's the pipe? Let's put his head on it. It's like, bad call, even if it's a legitimate call, it's a bad call. It's like, everybody hates the ref. No, the
ref, the man.
Nobody knows him, but everybody hates him. Or her, as the case may be, whatever. But it's, you know, this is just stupid. Anyways, unless you have anything else to say on this.
Not a word.
Not a word. Okay. Continuing in theme with the "It's the End of the World," Verizon has said that by the end of the year, they too will not be offering in any unmetered data. We kind of knew this from the things they were giving the Zoom and the iPad too, but
yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Well,
the entire show dedicated, as you said before, the big show.
Yeah, the advice I was going to give everybody was, well, the Thunderbolt's going to come out with unmetered 4G. Which, so, you know, it would be incentive to go buy a Thunderbolt. Because then you'd have a grandfathered in unlimited plan. And, you know, Thunderbolt does support tethering. And so basically, you bought a Thunderbolt, you could then tether your Wi-Fi only Zoom or tablet or iPad or whatever to that device and actually have data you can use at 4G speeds. But I'm not sure that's good advice to people because my guess is everybody's just going to kind of follow what AT&T is doing here. And given all the crap that's happened with AT&T in the last week,
now.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, one of the things they're doing is they're retroactively canceling people with unlimited data.
Oh, you mean they're killing the grandfather plan?
Yeah, they're killing them one by one. Effectively, here's what AT&T has been doing with the grandfather plans, and this is why I'm not sure it makes any sense, because I think Verizon will follow suit if AT&T gets away with it. The people with the grandfathered in plans that are using too much data, if they're actually using their data, AT&T basically sends them a thing going, you need to upgrade to a not grandfathered plan with metered data. And part of that thing basically says, if you don't do it, we'll do it for you.
Oh.
So basically, by the end of this year, I don't think there'll be any grandfathered in AT&T plans. They're basically going to go, because you're actually using data, we're going to accuse you of tethering, whether you are or not, but we're going to accuse you of doing it because you're using data. And the reality is, you don't even need a tether to use data. We did the math. You could use the 2 gig just listening to a few hours of streaming audio a night, a day. So if you're one of these people who's doing something like working third shift and on either your
Pandora, if you're Jeremy, you can be listening to Pandora or whatever,
I know a number of people who work third shift, and that's what they do. They listen to some form of audio stream on their smart device for like 5, 6, 8 hours a day. Because, they do it on the way to work, they do it the whole time they're at work, and then they do it on the way back. And, so it's like, that right there is going to use over 2 gig. That alone.
God, this is so anti-competitive.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the retroactively canceling, I have a real problem with, because, you gave them unmetered, and now that they're actually using it because their services will use data, it's like, oh, well, it's time for you to upgrade to a plan that's going to cost you 5 times as much, if not more. It's like, that's just such a fucking crock. But I guess those unmetered plans aren't worth their weight in gold. And what this comes down to at its crux, I don't think Sprint's long for this world either, because you have AT&T buying T-Mobile.
They think Verizon buys Sprint.
Yeah, well, because it's the other CDMA network in the States. So it makes sense. So you'll have the CDMA carrier and the GSM carrier, both inevitably merging together into the LTE network.
Sprint is using WiMAX now. Did you know that? In my era, we have WiMAX.
They are, but they also offer LTE.
Okay.
And their cell towers are CDMA, which means it would make sense for Verizon to buy them, because then they'd have a larger CDMA network. So that's honestly what I think is going to happen there, because Verizon does sublet.
So in the future, we're just going to have those 2 cartels where they're just do price fixing.
Well, and you know what?
The same exact price.
Well, and you know what? If this continues, it wouldn't surprise me if at some point they merge together, because eventually they're going to move off of GSM and CDMA onto LTE. At which point, then they're just this big giant LTE network. Hey, let's combine strength and just have a monopoly. You know. Well, but what's so scary about AT&T buying T-Mobile is AT&T's claim for these bandwidth caps on the mobile, which they're now imposing onto home connections, is they're broke and don't have the money to build out their. No. Let me state their statement, and then we'll point out why it's bullshit. They claim they're broke and don't have the money to build out their network, which they claim is over congested. Okay. I don't think it's over congestion at this point, especially not on the DSL and UVerse side, because I don't know a single person in the country that has problems getting their speed out of those connections, except for that it's 6 in the afternoon, everybody just got online, and no matter what the hell you do, it's going to be slow for that period there. It's just what's going to happen. Because everybody just got online, you know, there's nothing you can do for that. Oh, everybody's using the internet. Okay, but they claim they're broke. Okay, let me say how broke they are, because these are
more money than Apple.
No. This is the terms of the $39 billion purchase of T-Mobile America. For $39 billion, which is to sum up $25 billion worth of cash at a minimum. $25 billion at a minimum, and the balance to be paid in AT&T stock. So at a minimum, the broke AT&T has $25 billion, half of Bill Gates' fortune, to spend buying out their competition, but they don't have any money whatsoever to alleviate any bandwidth congestion. They're broke, but they have $25 billion to increase a monopolistic stance. In addition to the $25 billion, they have up to, because the terms of the agreement says they have the option for an additional $4.2 billion in cash to be added to the $25 billion to make a more favorable stock balance, which if that isn't going to in any way, shape, or form hinder day-to-day operations.
And they're going to get a whole bunch more of that, oh dear God, data points from hell.
Now, this whole AT&T T-Mobile merger thing is pending federal approval. The last time something like this happened, one of the things the regulators came in and did was basically said, well, wait a minute, let's apply some common sense. You know, you're doing this because you say you're broke and yada, yada, yada. No. In the interest of competition, you can't do this if you want to expand this and do that. Which means all of us need to frickin' be contacting Congress, the regulators, and the bankruptcy courts and complaining out our wazoo for the rest of this year. And basically going, look, this deal should not be approved unless, and basically point out all the ways in which AT&T is billing for things in a way that directly prevents competition with these bandwidth data usage caps, and basically explain the logic of data usage caps actually directly encourage network congestion because they deliberately disincentivize distributed computing, things like torrents and P2P, which split the bandwidth and the load over the network as a whole, rather than bottlenecking. Rather than
what's a Linux distribution?
Data caps disencourage that, and that helps spread it over the whole network. Otherwise, what you're doing is encouraging the very behavior that causes network congestion, which is bottlenecking everything at single client server point relationships. So all the data is having to go to one place, from one place to one place.
Right?
Yeah, as opposed to distributing the usage over the whole network. I'm a big fan of distributed computing because as you distribute it over the whole network, it becomes largely scalable, and you don't have network congestion issues except for the capacity of the network. I mean, there's a finite limit to how much it can do at any one time, but if you're distributing it, it tends not to get bottlenecks. It's not that it's impossible, but it tends not to happen, because everybody isn't doing the exact same thing at every point of the day. But a lot of people do want to go to certain places at certain times, and if it's distributed through scalable things like that, the more people who are accessing it, well, the more bandwidth there is to go around because it's distributed more. It works. But when you start,
I think Obama should have talked about this instead of the green energy BS.
That's the other thing. You should you should also bash on why are you ignoring something that actually affects every American in the future of technology in the United States, and focusing all your attention on witch hunts in Washington like they did a few weeks ago, and so on and so forth. It's like, how about we spend our taxpayer dollars on actually serving the best interests of the future of this country instead of some other shit? I'm not going into some of the other crap right now because I don't have enough of the facts right now. But
sure, we're all apt and try not to worry about it or you go insane.
Oh, there's that aspect, but yeah. But no, it's now is the time for everybody to get really, really loud on that topic, because one of the things the regulators do have in their authority to do is to say we're only going to approve this if unmetered plans return. You can still have these old dear God metered plans, but you have to come up with a pricing scheme for unmetered plans.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually based on your costs plus profits plus other things, because the reality is stuff's getting cheap. And they could enforce that. They could go, if you're not going to do that, and you can't buy out the unlimited data.
Now it makes the Verizon plans better because of the competition, right?
Well, and one of the real problems right now is if this deal goes through without some kind of thing like that now, it will be the death sentence to one of the main providers of unmetered. AT&T is, T-Mobile is one of the main mobile carriers that provides unmetered, and they also do provide some home broadband connections in a different way, but they do provide them. So basically this would be AT&T buying out competition that would make their caps. Basically, I would see a lot of people jumping ship from AT&T to T-Mobile if they weren't buying them, because if they had an unlocked phone, they can just take their phone over to T-Mobile.
Like Leo, he has T-Mobile, but he may not have T-Mobile for long.
Well, no, I don't think he's going to lose T-Mobile. I do think Leo's going to lose his unmetered data, because he'll be grandfathered in because he has a T-Mobile plan, but based on how AT&T's treating the people who have grandfathered in AT&T plans, I guarantee you they'll send him a letter going, yes, because you're actually using your phone, we have decided you need to upgrade from unlimited data to a 2 gigabyte cap. It's in your best interest. We'll do it for you.
AT&T's best interest, not his.
Yeah, we'll do it for you should you not RSVP. It's the other reason I wanted Leo on. I don't know what he thinks of this, because he's got to be screwed on that.
We're screwed.
I'm not really interested in these next two stories here, but I am kind of interested in this one, because, we just have to take this to a dirty level, given what we're going to get into later. Apparently, the ICANN has finally decided that there should be porn on the internet.
What?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. This is a Verizon commercial? Okay.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, the ICANN, the pseudo non-profit, which basically sits as a big advisory board to decide what we're going to agree on for rules of domains and so forth, has finally decided. They've been talking about this since I was beginning. I think this started when I was 12 or something. I forget, but this has been coming around and around and around. It's finally been approved. There is now a .xxx domain.
Yes.
you know, love or hate porn, it really does make sense.
Yeah, because you keep all your eggs in one basket. Okay?
Yeah,
you go to this current era, which has like the beads are on top of it, you know, like that you can easily go right through, you know. But still, you know which is the porn era, which isn't.
Yeah, I mean, you know, .org is for nonprofits. .gov is for government agencies, particularly U.S. government agencies. .com is like the general all-purpose use thing.
.co.
Well, that's a different thing too. But yeah, and then there's like the individual country and so forth. And you know, it's like the hard thing. You know, all these people like, well, people never fornicate. You know, this doesn't happen. There's no boobies. People never fornicate.
There's a cabbage patch. You're born from a cabbage patch, and
the stork comes and harvests the cabbage and peels it back, and then like, however that myth works. You know, it's like to hear the way the censor people take it. I'm like I've imagined this, but in their world, I just walked out of my mother fully clothed. Largely as I am, you know,
like a Brady Bunch. There are no clothes.
Yeah, it's like you know, I've seen my baby pictures. Not only did I not come out clothed, but I did not even look human. You know, it's like I look like some weird creature from another world. You know, and this is
in 2001 at the end.
Yeah, this is something I honestly think everybody should be exposed to, because it's like when a kid comes out, they don't look like a human. They look like something from Alien. Anyways, but no, it makes sense. This is going to make it easier for the people who are, I must censor things to the wazoo. Now, the interesting thing is going to be to see how is this enforced. Are all these, whatever the hell.com, like what is it, lexlovelust.com or whatever, I bet that's a real domain.
Let me do a search on that.
Yeah, but like, are they gonna make them like when their renewal comes due, get a triple X and like move everything over to the triple X, or is like how is this gonna be enforced? Because
I guess people are gonna like virtually crazy. They're gonna go through the most popular porn sites and get virtually crazy and get self for millions.
You know that you know what, the people who want to buy domains, it's not, the thing that's going to be interested is going to be is the porno industry or whatever going to embrace this or reject it, because they've always claimed they were in favor of it, but yeah, who knows?
Betamax versus VHS, you know, Lilay versus HTTP. It's all about the
yeah. It honestly just depends on the decency police.